A viewer commented on one of our YouTube videos that she used to have experiences where she would know what someone was going to say before they said it, or she'd be thinking about someone and then they would call her, things like that. And lately that has not been, she says she's not had that connection. So the question that she wrote was, does this mean that because this connection is not there like that anymore, does this mean that she has some negative attachments or possessions? So that's what our discussion is going to be about today. My husband is here. Of course, as usual, he is invisible. You will not see him, but you will hear him. And he's going to help us open up this topic. Let us know what some of the possibilities are as to what could be causing this to happen.
Now, as I talk, you should move your lips.
Okay, let's practice.
Okay. Because...
I won't be able to be your ventriloquist.
Exactly. We're doing ventriloquism, right?
Ventriloquism.
Do we have that right?
Ventriloquism.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's a... Well, have other people told you that? Or have you had that experience?
What?
That's described in the comment or question.
Of being able to know what someone says before they say it, or think about someone and then they call. That
That's
experience?
Uh-huh.
I have that
Yes.
experience, yes.
All right. Do you still have that experience?
I do.
Okay. So what do you think causes you to have that experience?
I'm just in tune and I guess picking up on other people.
In tune with what?
The universe?
Huh?
In tune with them?
Them who?
The people who I might be thinking about, or someone who I'm around whose sentence I could finish.
Okay. What do you think, if you stop having that, you said you still have it, if you stop having that, what do you think would cause it?
I never thought about that, but I would think that I'm just blocked in some way, that I'm just not connecting to people because I've got something going on with myself that's preventing me from connecting to
You mean
others.
like constipation? Blocked? You said blocked. So.
I'll go run out and get some laxatives.
Or you eat chocolate, right?
Yes, chocolate's awesome for that, for me at least. Okay, that's what I would think it would be, a spiritual energy block of some kind.
All right. I ask you that because I feel very certain that almost everyone have had that experience or has had that experience, you know, where they think about somebody and all of a sudden they get a phone call or they see that person. Mm-hmm. It's nothing out of the ordinary. Now, because it doesn't normally happen with individuals, they think it's something extraordinary.
Or I think it could be that they don't really pay attention to it. Because I've heard people exclaim, oh, I was going to say that. And it's like, okay, well, maybe they were picking up on that person's thought and they just don't realize it.
Or they don't think about, or maybe they don't think about it as extraordinary, which is good.
Right, that is
because
good.
it's not extraordinary.
Right.
You know, that's what we're supposed to be able to do all the time, without trying. So to comment to that viewer, or to the viewer, very good that you were able to do that. And to all the other individuals that are having such experience or have had such experience, that proves to the individuals that they have the natural ability to tune in, not to someone as you're thinking, but to tuning to the universe. The reason why you can do that is because you're becoming one with the universe. It's not because you're tuning into a person. If you're tuning into a person, then you're invading somebody's space, which you shouldn't be doing. If you're tuning into the universe, then of course, you still pick up on everything that's going on. It's like the internet, right? You can go and do a search for something, and all these things come up, right?
Right.
But it's like that. If you have a thought, you're not even thinking, but if you have a thought, it's a search in the universe, and then all these things come to you. Can you visualize that?
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. If you go like this, I wonder how I can be a better mom for my kids. And you seriously think that? All of a sudden you get all these solutions will start coming to you. maybe you'll see a show on television, or which we don't have, but let's say on YouTube, right?
Right, or
Or-
when I go on the internet and those ads pop up, one might be related to an article pertaining to
Well, you don't go on the internet. Maybe you access the internet.
access, when I access the internet.
You don't want to go on there. That's a tough thing to do. Just,
Okay.
all right. So when you access the internet, then what happens?
An ad for an article might pop up about parenting.
The-
Or something relating to me being a better mother.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because those parenting articles, I don't know about those. Anyway, but something could come up, right? Mm-hmm. You'll get hints from the universe itself, and that's how you tap in. So if all of a sudden, for example, sometimes I send you a thought, and then all of a sudden you come walking into the room with something, and say, "Oh, she picked up on that," right? Mm-hmm. You're not thinking about picking up that thought. It just I sent it to you, and then you picked up on it because it's out there in the universe. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
So if someone all of a sudden thinks about their child, and then the child calls, or they find out, oh, the child was not feeling well, they picked up on it from the universe. It's that connection, the universal connection that takes place. What causes it? Frequencies. Every time we talk about frequencies. Everything is a frequency.
Mm-hmm.
You have a thought, it's a frequency. So how would you pick up on something? All these things are out there in the universe. Why is it you pick up on certain things, you think?
Because my frequency is similar to that.
Exactly. Right? It matches. Your frequency matches. So because it matches, then you pick up on it. And say, oh, okay. I was just thinking about that person, and then the person called. No, what happened is the person sent something out on the same frequency as yours, and then they met, and that's why things worked out the way they did. It's not a coincidence. The frequencies happen to be similar.
Okay.
So why did I spend time on that? Because let's say now all of a sudden, going back to the question I asked you earlier, you're not able to pick up on these things. I send you a thought, you're not picking up on it. What do you think happened? What changed?
My frequency changed.
Aha! So if you notice, does that have anything to do with attachments or possessions?
No, it still goes back to me.
Exactly. So now, could it be because of attachments or possessions?
I think yes. I think that maybe because, I mean, if my frequency changed and it was lower to the point where I could get possessions and attachments, then I'm not at that same level anymore to get the messages on the frequencies that I used to be on. So I think that they could affect it that way, or interfere so that I don't get the messages, or the information.
And they're good at interfering, right?
Yes, they're very good at interfering.
Now to bring that up, you notice it's still frequency though.
It is.
So now let's say, for example, it's possessions and attachments.
Mm-hmm.
How does it affect your frequency? Or how does that happen? How do you even wind up getting these attachments and possessions? From your experience
From being
and
emotional.
the work that we've done.
It's all based on my emotional stability.
Well, not just your emotional stability, right?
Well, you were asking me, so I was saying.
Oh,
From my
okay.
experience,
Got
it's
it.
emotional instability.
And that goes for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Your emotions control your frequency. So the more emotionally unstable somebody is, the more unstable their frequency is.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean for somebody?
Well, that means that they could have a lot of possessions and attachments if their frequency is constantly lowered, or there could be a lot of interference. They're not at the same level as others to be able to receive the information that's being sent to them.
Right? Or when they receive it, it's not received properly. It's probably inaccurate.
Like when you're trying to tune into a radio station and you hear it, but then sometimes another one comes over and it's trying to find that right frequency so you can get the clear tune.
That's a very good analogy. One moment, like when I was younger, I used to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning to study, right? Because during the day I'm playing soccer, I have to go practice, and then I have basketball, I have martial arts, I'm doing all these things. And then I go to bed, I wake up at 2 o'clock to study for school. And I had this radio. And at that time of the night, in our country, the radio station already shut down. It shuts down at midnight. And I turned it on, and there's only one radio station I could get on there. And it was a radio station from Texas. That's why I love country music now. One radio station. So every 2 o'clock I turn on, this radio station comes on. It's from Texas. So I would listen to the Texas radio station. However, as I'm tuning to get to it, sometimes I would hear a Spanish radio station. Probably Mexico, because it's close to Texas.
Right.
So I hear Spanish, then I go this way, I hear English, and I go Spanish, English, until I finally get the Dallas, right? Exactly the right frequency from Dallas. Yeah, this is Dallas, Texas. And I just enjoy my country music, right? So that goes back to frequencies. You have to have the right one, otherwise it could really be messed up. So one, you could still be getting information, but it's confusing, or it could be misleading because you have these attachments and possessions that are distorting the information that you're getting. Or maybe it's not even possessions and attachments at all. It could just be you just so busy with your thought process, thinking about all these other things that are going on or whatever's happening in your life, that you've scrambled your frequency to the point where it's not at that level to receive the information accurately.
You're so preoccupied, maybe you're not paying attention.
That's correct. Okay? So what does it all mean then? Going back to the initial question.
That there are numerous possibilities as to why you may not be able to finish a sentence for someone, or think of someone and then they call on the phone, or have any experience like that. There are numerous possibilities as to why that's possible, that you couldn't.
Now, because we know who sent this question in, I can assure the individual that it has nothing with possessions or attachments, right? Because we check this individual often. Not only that, we also know things that are going on and that she's preoccupied with things. So more than likely it's the preoccupation that's causing this in this individual's case. If I know it's a she, because I already said it's a she, more than likely that's what it is.
Okay.
I feel very confident that's what the case is. How do we fix it?
Well, it's really, she will have to fix it.
Yeah, but how?
By finding ways to be still and just get back to, well, we call it alpha, but just get back to I'm not sure how to phrase what it is I want to say.
It's called centering, where you just
there you go,
center yourself.
centering.
Right, all right, and this individual already is learning how to do that. So as long as she continues to focus on that, that ability will become prominent again.
Right.
Because it's all about clearing your mind and being able to stay centered, where your thoughts are not all over the place, and when something happens, you're not overreacting to it. And we say overreacting because if you're getting emotional about something that happened, then of course it tells you that your frequency is not stable. But once you can deal with something, no matter what it is, or even if you get ruffled a little bit, that means you get a little anxious.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So even if that were to happen, and you make sure it lasts just for a few minutes, then you're back on track. Because all of us will get to a point where maybe just for a moment, right, we get moved by something. But the trick is to make sure that we get back on track as quickly as possible. You do that, then you're more connected with the universe, because your frequency is quite consistent compared to someone that's up and down all the time, getting emotional and crying and screaming and arguing and all the other things that take away from someone being focused on being calm. Maybe there's another term, just being calm.
Okay.
Anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think we covered it. So, if you think this video might help someone else, please remember to share it. Like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us on 190vision.com, 190vision on Instagram and Facebook, as well as YouTube, of course.